It's been a minute, Johnny. And as we know in the NFL, when we take 6 weeks or so to do a show, a lot of stuff happens. Am I wrong? A lot of stuff. I'm the Fantasy Reaper. Welcome to Fantasy Sports Island. If you like this content, make sure you hit that like button. You'll probably want to subscribe. That way you'll get notified next time we have a show. And hit that little notification bell. Ding! Hey, Johnny Ballgame.
That's what I'm talking about. Listen, you don't want to miss the shit we talk about. All right. Even the nonsensical stuff that we talk about, you're going to want to see that. So let's subscribe. Just stop doing it.
And if you like a little humor thrown in there as well, we'll bring that too. Johnny's a pretty funny guy.
We're going to bring some stuff.
We're going to bring some stuff. We got a lot on tonight's show. Tonight's show, we're going to do some draftology, talk about the draft that just happened a couple weeks ago. We're going to tell you the greatest point system ever created for fantasy football that we use. We're going to unveil every statistic that we use for our point system so you guys can get an idea of what we're playing with. We think it's fantastic.
You're all going to want to do that.
We've been honing this system for 20 years. I think we got it down.
Yeah.
And then we're going to close the show tonight. We're going to reveal our real early top 12 fantasy quarterbacks and how we rank them as a channel. There's 6 of us that are voting on this, and we're going to unveil that tonight. It's very early. I'm sure we'll change those rankings as we go, but it'll be fun. So stick around, wait till the end, hit that like button, and we're on to the content. Johnny, you ready to go?
Hey, brother.
All right, here we go.
News and notes around the NFL.
Start with news and notes around the NFL. And there's been tons of news. I'm just going to check on the stuff that I think is extremely relevant for fantasy purposes. And the first thing that I saw was A.J. Brown getting traded on draft day to the Philadelphia Eagles, and then he turns around and signs a 4-year, $100 million extension. I want to get your thoughts, John. You live in Tennessee. You lose A.J. Brown. What do you think? Is he going to be successful in Philadelphia, and was this a good trade for both teams?
I don't think it was a great trade for Tennessee. I mean, they did replace him in the draft, and I can't remember the dude's name. I'm sure you'll tell me later. With a guy just like A.J. Brown, only not proven and not an all-pro like this guy was. I think Philadelphia got better for sure. Philadelphia got better in a lot of ways. In a crazy great draft and free agency, I feel like they're the favorite to win the NFC East, but that's a different conversation. But I think Tennessee got worse.
I do too. I think it hurts a lot about Tennessee. It hurts Derrick Henry the most, I think, because you had that threat on the outside of A.J. Brown where you do the run fake and you hit him on the slant. Now that's not really there. They did draft a rookie to try to replace A.J. Brown. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But A.J. Brown is a top 10 wide receiver. You let him go to the Eagles, and now the Eagles can run that play action, and they have a strong running game to begin with. So I think it's going to work there, very similar to how it worked in Tennessee for A.J. Brown. I don't think his quarterback play is quite as good, although Tannehill's not great. But I don't think A.J. Brown's going to take too bad a hit there going to Philly.
I don't either, and I actually have Hurts is he's my 13th ranked quarterback, a lot because A.J. Brown's there. I mean, it's going to be a good team.
Yeah, and you don't have to be super accurate to hit A.J. Brown on a slant. I mean,
thank God for Hurts.
Yeah, you run that play fake and you hit him across the middle.
Yeah, he's a big old body.
Yeah, he's a big boy. Yeah. All right, another trade that happened on draft day. Hollywood has a new address. Marquise Brown now resides in Arizona, Glendale, Arizona to be specific, goes to the Cardinals on a trade. I want to know what you think about this one as well, because I know Hollywood was one of your favorite receivers simply because he's performed well for you in the past. What do you think? Does he fit well in Arizona?
I mean, I guess he does. He broke my heart a little bit towards the end of the year last year, but I mean, they needed him. It turns out Hopkins got suspended for 6 games? So they need a number one receiver. I actually think Rondale Moore is probably the receiver to own over Hollywood Brown. Here's my issue with Hollywood Brown. He never took it to the next level. Like he's a great receiver, but he never made that quarterback. He never made Lamar better. You know what I mean? Like There was time. In fact, one game he dropped 3 or 4 passes. Could have been an
Three
unbelievable.
touchdowns. He dropped 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, and so we complain a lot about Lamar and his passing and stuff, but at the end of the day, Hollywood didn't catch some of those passes, and I don't know that he makes them better. Now, is he a threat on the outside? Absolutely. I mean, he gets 1,000 yards every year, it seems like, without even trying real hard. But I don't know. Baltimore doesn't really have any receivers, so I don't know why they did that. But Arizona, it's probably good for them for a little bit, but I'm not crazy about it. It doesn't make me go, oh, I want to get, you already know how I feel about their quarterback. So
I'm very disappointed in Baltimore. They trade away their arguably best receiver.
Yeah.
They still have the tight end there in Andrews, but the offense is going to heavily lean on the run again. And it's going to make Lamar Jackson – I think Lamar Jackson's going to probably score more points because he's going to be going back to the arcade version of Lamar Jackson where Madden, where he runs the ball a lot. But as far as the passing game goes, I think they're going to be hurting a little bit. I think that hurts their passing game. And I don't think they're as good as a team as they were before this trade. So
I agree. And they didn't get that much for him.
They didn't. And I'm a little disappointed in all these teams that are contenders trading away their star receivers. The Chiefs did it. The Ravens did it. The Titans did it. I just don't understand why now is the time to trade. I know you don't want to pay him down the road, but you are a contender right now. I mean, why are you not going for the championship? I don't understand.
I don't either.
All right. Next story is kind of funny and sad at the same time. Tariq Cohen, he was going to come on our show as a guest, Johnny. And you guys saw the video on Instagram. He pulled up lane, grabbed the back of his leg. Turns out it's not funny. He tore his Achilles during a live stream workout on Instagram. He was coming back from a torn ACL, working real hard to get back, and he missed the entire season last year. And now his career is probably in danger now with the torn Achilles. It's a sad story. You're a follower of the Chicago Bears. What do you think about this, John?
I felt bad for him, man. And he's not a Bear anymore, but he's still a Bear. Like the Bears will still go, oh shit, that sucks. I feel bad for him. He's trying hard. And as somebody who's actually torn their Achilles, I know what that recovery is like. That's a year minimum. I was older.
Guys, I'm just kidding. Tariq Cohen was never going to come on the show. I hope you know that. All right. And let's talk about the never-ending saga of Deshaun Watson. Apparently, he's meeting with the NFL in Texas this week regarding their investigation on the matter. And if you had to guess, Johnny, what do you think the repercussions of this will be? How long will the suspension be? And will they come down like at the end of this week with the suspension? What do you think?
I think we'll know at the beginning of next week. For some reason, I don't feel like we'll know by Friday. I hope we will. I don't think so. I think we'll know next week. And I think they'll probably go light, like 6 weeks, maybe 8. They might go 8, but I think it'll probably be 6. And again, we all know that the reason he's in Cleveland is because of the way they structured the contract to get him there. He's not going to lose any money. He's going to lose $500,000. Oh, poor fella.
Yeah, if he gets 8 weeks, he'll lose $500,000 because he's getting paid $1 million for the season.
Yep.
I have a feeling it's going to be less than that. I think it's going to be 4 weeks.
Ugh.
That's just my gut, just simply because he wasn't charged with any of the counts. And the NFL wants to make a statement, but they also don't want to take away one of the stars of the league before all this happened for that long of a period. I think they'll hit him with the 4 weeks. It seems like, I don't know, the happy medium for both parties. And you know when that happens that Watson won't he basically won't fight that. He'll accept that 4-week suspension.
That's a gift if he gets a 4 week
exactly.
suspension.
There will be no appeal. So I think it works both ways. I think 4 weeks sounds about right. If it was me, I'd suspend him all of next season so he loses $50 million, but that's just me.
I would.
But they're not going to do that. It's a business. They want their best players on the field and on TV. And I mean, say what you want about Deshaun Watson. When he's right, he is one of the top 5 best quarterbacks in football.
Yep. Absolutely.
Draftology.
All right. So while we were away, the draft happened. We got to talk about the draft because there's a lot of fantasy relevance in this year's draft. There was a run at wide receivers early on there in the first round. Let's talk about it, Johnny. Let's do some draftology.
Let's do it.
So the first kind of surprise to me was at number 8, the Atlanta Falcons. They got Drake London out of USC. He was not my top receiver off the board. I want to know what you think about Drake London going to Atlanta.
I thought it was a weird pick because to me, he's like Kyle Pitts part 2, and they already have Kyle Pitts. So I know he's a wide receiver, not a tight end, but he's got the same body type as Kyle Pitts. Like if you put those two in the end zone, one of them is definitely catching a touchdown pass. So I guess from that end, you're okay. The problem is Marcus Mariota is their quarterback. Full stop. That's it. That's all I have to say. Marcus Mariota.
Thinking about that, and I think that's the reason why they went with they like the big receivers.
They needed someone with a big giant range.
You need the big wingspan and the large players in the end zone to catch errant passes from their quarterback.
Here's the thing, though. Mariota can actually throw it deep. They need somebody who can run under it and get it. That guy can actually throw.
If you've been following what Atlanta has done and all their signings, it's all been taller, bigger wide receivers. Yeah. They're going big. No speed.
No speed at all.
No. All right. Next at number 10, the Jets took Garrett Wilson out of your Ohio State.
Yeah.
He was my top receiver off the board. I think the Jets scored. What do you think?
Love the pick. Love that kid. The Jets, I think, won the draft. Like, just hands down. Their players, New York as a state actually really won the draft, but the Jets, I mean, yeah, it was good.
Well, not only did they pull probably the best receiver off the board, they also got the best running back off the board in Breece Hall. So
they had the best quarterback off in Sauce Gardner. I mean, they're 3 picks, easily 3 number 1 first round picks. Fantastic picks, all of them.
Yeah, they did fantastic. They really did. Then the Saints, right after the Jets at number 11, they take Chris Olave, also out of Ohio State. So both Ohio State guys go early. The Saints have a sneaky good little passing attack now because Michael Thomas is coming back, and he said he's hungry. He wants to play, so he's going to be back. And then you also have Jarvis Landry in the slot. So a lot of options for Winston. And you still have Kamara, hopefully, if he doesn't get suspended. I mean, John, you got to like Jameis Winston a little bit, right?
Bro, you and I talked about this off camera. They're my sleeper team in the NFC to go to the Super Bowl. They're my sleeper team. I think that offense can be – listen, Jameis, for all of his faults, last year when he got injured, week 6 or something like that, had like 14 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. He was playing well with 0 receivers. Now you give him back Michael Thomas. Now you give him Olave, a healthy Kamara again if he's not in jail or suspended, and now you add Jarvis Landry who can catch your passes underneath, plus the receivers who got a lot of experience last year. That's a good team. It's a really good team, and I think they have Tom Brady's number because they always play well against Tom Brady. You got the Honey Badger on defense now. A couple of LSU boys coming home. My gosh. I mean, what is not to like about the Saints? A new coach to kind of spark up a little bit of something, but he's been with the team, so there's still continuity. I like this Saints team a lot.
Well, Jameis Winston, crack our top 12 fantasy quarterbacks. Stay tuned to find out. All right. You like that little tease, Johnny?
I like that tease. That's nice. That's nice. Professional. That's why you're the pro, Reap.
That's right. All right. The Lions, I think, took the best receiver talent-wise. Now, he's coming off an ACL injury. Yeah. That's Jameson Williams, of course, out of Alabama. Long-term, I think this guy's got the best talent. But I'm not sure he's going to be fantasy relevant his first year. He may miss a few weeks. He may start off slow. But overall, if you're in a dynasty league and you can get Jameson Williams, I think he's going to be a beast.
I mean, I wouldn't mind having him to stash on the bench for the end of the year. Like that's to me one of those guys that like weeks 13 through 18 suddenly comes on and everybody's like, I wish I would have drafted that guy. I wish I had him on my bench. I'd stash him because I think he gets healthy. And I think you're right. He'll probably miss the first couple of weeks just trying to get himself back in shape and stuff. But I like that kid. God, that kid's got speed. And if you ever watched him in Alabama, and of course I'm an SEC country, so I have to SEC watch those guys down there in the South. But
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Yeah, he's a good one. He's a good choice.
All right, I refuse to call the Washington team the Commanders. I'm gonna just call them the Commandos from now on, if that's all right with everyone.
I like it.
They took Jahan Dotson out of Penn State. I like Jahan Dotson. I don't like the fit in Washington. What do you think, John?
I don't like the place they drafted him. Like I thought they took a reach at that spot. And yeah, Wentz, now their quarterback, which gives you a big so what. I think he's going to be wasted there.
I mean, he's a talented player, and long term, I could see him doing damage. But I mean, I don't like the fit. I don't like the fit with Carson Palmer.
He's not going to have relevance this year.
Wentz, sorry. Yeah, exactly. I just don't like him this year.
Yeah.
So now let's talk about the Titans after they trade A.J. Brown. They draft Treylon Burks, kind of in the mold of A.J. Brown. But let's be real. You had A.J. Brown, and now you drafted someone that you hope one day could be A.J. Brown. Again, I don't understand it. I do understand making a Treylon Burks your pick, but man, if they could have added him with A.J. Brown, that would have been a different story.
You have Bobby Trees, A.J. Brown, and Treylon Burks. That's a good-looking team right there. But yeah, without A.J. Brown, to me, this is just reeks of, oh, you don't want to be with us? Well, fine then. We're gonna draft your lookalike and trade you. Like it was like they're pouting or something.
Right. And let's be real, had they not traded A.J. Brown, they wouldn't have that pick to be able to pick Treylon Burks anyways. So they would have never actually been teammates. But I do think it's funny that you replace A.J. Brown with a guy that plays exactly like A.J. Brown. But you had A.J. Brown. I don't understand. Anyway. Yeah. All right. Pittsburgh Steelers. They made two moves. The first, they get Kenny Pickett out of Pittsburgh. The hometown hero comes home, plays for Pittsburgh. It makes sense. I don't think Kenny Pickett's the best quarterback in the draft, but I kind of like the fit. He's got weapons in Pittsburgh. He's an accurate quarterback. He's got a good coach. I think he could do well there.
Yeah, I don't think he beats out Trubisky, though, for the first year. I think Trubisky's your starter this year. And then I think Trubisky's your starter. And you haven't liked Trubisky since the beginning, so I get it. I knew you were going to say you don't. But I think Trubisky has experience. He's humbled by what's happened. He took the Bears to the playoffs 2 of the 3 years he was there.
Did.
And
or you could say the Bears took him to the playoffs.
He's got way better weapons.
He does. I don't mean to be too mean on Trubisky, but Trubisky's going to have a short leash. They took Pickett in the first round. And when Trubisky trips on his own dick, that's when they're going to bring in the kid, and I think the rest will be history. I don't think Trubisky will make it to week 8. That's my prediction.
I disagree.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. All right, now let's fast forward to the second round. The Packers didn't take a receiver in the first. They wait till the second, and they tag Christian Watson, North Dakota State, at wide receiver to kind of be the next guy after Devontae Adams. I like Christian Watson, and I think he'll do well with Aaron Rodgers, but he's not NFL ready. That's my problem. I think it's going to be a project. It might take a year or two. What do you think?
Yeah, I was thinking a lot about this. They've never drafted a wide receiver that's made impact in the first year. Like if you think about all their star receivers, it wasn't until years 2, 3, even Devontae didn't make a big splash until year 3. Here's who I like on the Packers, Amari Rodgers. I like that guy. I think that guy's going to make a big leap.
He was a rookie last year, so this will be his second year, and I agree. I think people have forgotten about him. You don't hear him mentioned, and he has a lot of talent. So he's got pedigree. So I think you're right. Although I don't think he'll be
next year.
I think he's more of a Amari Rodgers. I think he's more of a 2 receiver though, and we'll see. We'll see how it works out.
I mean, I don't know if he's a true number 1, but he could be Randall Cobb in his youth. and Randall Cobb in his youth was really freaking good.
Yeah.
So
In the
I think
slot,
for fantasy relevance, I might stash him. I might stash him and see how we do.
Fair enough. All right. We'll go back to the Jets. From the Giants, in a trade, they got this pick and they took Breece Hall at running back. And that was the 4th overall pick in the 2nd round. Breece Hall is the best running back in college football. And the Jets are positioning themselves to make a big leap this year. They have put weapons around their quarterback, Zach Wilson, and I like what they're doing. And even though they drafted a running back last year and he showed flashes, they said, no, we want the best talent in the draft, Breece Hall. Please put him on my team next to Zach Wilson. I like the move. I do.
I love it. I actually love what the Jets did.
I do too. I think the Jets just hit a home run, just with all the weapons that they put around Zach Wilson. I really am. I'm intrigued. Not only that, but didn't they get the tight end from Cincinnati as well? They did. They got Uzoma. So I really like what they've done. They're going to be dangerous.
Yeah.
All right. Now, first real surprise of the draft.
They also drafted a tight end too.
Yeah, they did. But we'll get to that. That's later on. We'll get to that for sure.
Yeah.
The Seahawks kind of surprised me. You didn't think they'd take a running back, but they did. And they took Kenneth Walker from Michigan State. And now you wonder, what does that mean for Rashad Penny? Are they going to split carries? Is Rashad Penny going to be the 1 and then Kenneth Walker's the 2? Is Kenneth Walker insurance because Penny's hurt all the time? And I think that also signals that Chris Carson's career is over when they take Kenneth Walker. I think that's the end. That's the end for Chris Carson. They probably don't think he's coming back.
I agree. I think Chris Carson's done. I think Rashad Penny probably starts. But again, always hurt, very inconsistent. Yes, he finished the year unbelievable, but he's had flashes before and then fallen off. I love Kenny Walker. I like that guy a lot. I mean,
he's good.
He injured Ohio State when he played against us.
He's a beast.
He's a beast. He's the most to me, he's the most pro-ready running back that was in the draft.
I would agree. And for fantasy purposes, I think he's a solid kid. And dynasty purposes, he's a fantastic kid.
I mean, here's the thing. Dynasty purposes for sure. I don't know fantasy purposes because I don't know who the hell their quarterback is. Yeah. And my assumption is it's not going to be anybody good. So that means the box is going to get loaded up on run. I don't really want any Seahawks until I find out who that. I don't even want DK Metcalf in the 10th round if I don't know who the quarterback is. And I don't know who the quarterback is. If it's Locke, no thank you.
I mean, if it's Geno Smith, no thank you.
No.
Okay. The Giants took Wan'Dale Robinson out of Kentucky. And I'm going to be honest, I don't know a lot about Wan'Dale Robinson. When I saw the pick, I kind of went, really? Ahead of guys like John Mechie and Tyquan Thornton. And man, that kind of shocked me.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think. We'll see. Since I don't know a lot about him, I'm not gonna talk smack about him.
I honestly don't know that much about him either. So
yeah, because he played at Kentucky. So
good luck to you.
Good luck, sir. The Houston Texans got the guy I liked a lot, John Mechie, also out of Alabama. He stepped up big when Jameson got hurt, and he really upped his stock for the draft. And I like this fit. I like this fit for Houston. I know you like Houston's quarterback. Yeah, Davis Mills. I mean, he had a really good rookie year.
I ended up liking him the best out of all the rookie quarterbacks last year. So, which was crazy because I never thought he would even see the field.
Yeah, he came out of nowhere for sure.
Yeah. No, I still think Houston's the worst team in that division.
Oh, absolutely. Because they did what Houston does. They got a bunch of mediocre players.
Yeah. But Mechie was a great draft. That was a good draft.
Agreed. Yeah. The Patriots got Tyquan Thornton, wide receiver out of Baylor, who I do like, but I'm not sure I like him that high. New England took him in the 2nd round.
They took a 2nd round lineman in the 1st. So I mean, they just bumped everybody up apparently.
Backwards, yeah. So we're gonna skip that one because there's not a lot to say there. Here's the one I really want to talk about though: the Steelers. Remember I said they got Kenny Pickett? Yep. They also got George Pickens from Georgia. So Pickett to Pickens, that pick your poison. I love it.
I actually like him.
I do like him, and I think it's a great weapon. And then you still have Deontay, and you still have Claypool. So you have 3 really good weapons there, and the tight end.
Really nice young receiving core now. They kind of got rid of Washington. They got rid of Juju.
They still have Najee Harris.
Still got Najee. Fantastic.
I like what they're doing.
So you still think Trubisky's not gonna?
I think the quarterback's going to be Pickett. But we've already established that. All right. The Colts. This guy I kind of like. Alec Pierce, wide receiver out of Cincinnati. He complements.
That guy just catches balls.
That guy just catches
everything.
He complements Pittman really well, I think.
Yeah, I liked that pick.
And let's not forget Matt Ryan's throwing him the ball.
In this draft, how many Cincinnati Bearcats got drafted? And when's the last time you saw multiple Cincinnati Bearcats drafted? And I think there was 4 in the first 2 rounds, maybe something like that, 4 or 5. Unbelievable.
Yeah. I agree. All right. The most intriguing pick of the draft was the Kansas City Chiefs. We all know they let Tyreek Hill go to the Dolphins.
Yep.
They drafted Sky Moore, Western Michigan. Sky Moore is fast. But is Sky Moore more like Tyreek Hill, or is he more like Mecole Hardman?
That was my worry too. I like him a lot, though. I think this guy is one of those. I think Andy Reid's just a mad scientist genius and went, I'm going to get this guy. And I believe he targeted him the entire time. Like, I think that guy was on his radar the entire time.
I agree. And he doesn't have to come in and be the man because they got Juju to kind of catch all the balls, right, for 3 yards. And Sky Moore will be – I think Sky Moore will be used as more of a gadget player, kind of like Mecole Hardman was used, but a little bit more. I think he's a little bit more talented than Mecole Hardman. He can catch the ball, man. Don't doubt him.
And Mecole's only got like burner speed, and that's pretty much all he's got. This guy has got hands. He can go across the middle. He can go long ball. I liked him a lot.
But I think he is going to be in the slot for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, the Cardinals took the guy I was most intrigued about at tight end, Trey McBride. If you saw him play at Colorado State, this guy's a beast. And Arizona got him to partner up with your boy at tight end, longtime Philadelphia Eagle, Ertz. Yep. So anytime you can add multiple weapons to, for Kyler Murray, especially now that we know the suspension, 6 weeks for what is his name? DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
I think it's a good pick. I like it. It gives him another big body guy he can throw touchdowns to. I really like Trey McBride. I think that's a steal.
I liked him too. I thought the Bengals might actually get him.
I was
earlier. I thought for sure the Bengals were going to replace Uzomah, but I like this pick for the Cardinals for sure. It reminds me a little bit though for Ertz of when Dallas Goedert got drafted. So now he's like, I got to go through this again. And they also had, who was the guy that was before Ertz who was having a good season and got injured, and they had to
Max Williams.
Yeah, Max Williams was having a freaking amazing season until he got hurt, and then they went and got Ertz. So that tight end room is stacked.
Yeah, I like what they did there. That's a good weapon to have.
Yeah.
All right. I like this pick a lot. So 31st pick in the second round, Buffalo. You knew they wanted a running back. They tried to steal the Washington running back.
Yeah.
They tried to get like several speedy pass catching backs. They tried to get Christian McCaffrey. They settle on James Cook out of Georgia. And you know who his brother is, Dalvin Cook.
Yep.
And James Cook is more explosive than Dalvin Cook. He's not as big. He's more of a reception.
He's not powerful. Right.
He's a possession type running back. He's going to be in there to catch passes. But man, this guy can fly. I like this pick. Anytime you add a weapon like that to Josh Allen's arsenal, look out.
I mean, let's face it, they've got a mediocre running team. They need to be better in that. And I'm with you, man. Like, I'm just picturing a Josh Allen roll to the right, throw back to the running back in the flat on the left-hand side, and that guy just gone.
He cooks.
Yeah.
And you know what? Devin Singletary had a pretty good year last year, too. I mean, it's not really fair to say their running backs suck. You could say that about their backup running backs last year. They were crap.
Singletary did. He stepped up
good.
toward the middle and end of the season.
And
Again,
I wonder
when
how
they
this
stopped
is
screwing with him.
Yeah, I wonder how this is going to affect him, too, because they are going to use Cook quite a bit. But I still think Devin Singletary is going to get his touchdowns on the goal line. So
Yeah, I think they'll get rid of Moss. I don't think Moss is going to make the team.
Oh, yeah, he's definitely a candidate to get cut. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
So the Falcons took Desmond Riddler out of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think long term? Is he going to be a good quarterback?
He's going to end up starting before the end of the season.
I kind of agree with you. I don't see why he wouldn't. I think the Falcons are going to suck. And
Mariota is not the answer.
Mariota is definitely not the answer. So after about 6 to 8 weeks, they'll probably go to the rookie.
Ritter he's the most pro ready. He's the most cerebral. He's just a winner. And what he did for the Cincinnati program is beyond measure. Like the guy's a winner. And I think he's going to be an excellent pro quarterback. I honestly think this quarterback class was so underrated. And I think by the end of it, people are going to go, you know what? That class was not near as bad as we thought it was going to be. There's some really good people in this class.
I think there's more depth in this draft at quarterback than there was last year.
Yeah.
I don't think the star power is there necessarily, but I definitely like the depth. There's three
I hear
or four.
scouts saying, well, Davis Mills would be the number 1 rated quarterback this year.
He wasn't last year.
He was number 5. So that's what they're saying. Like the number 5 from last year is going to be the number 1. That's how little talented they think the rest of the group is.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Desmond Ritter is going to be a starter in this league for about 15 years. I think Kenny Pickett, when he takes over eventually, next year probably, of course, will end up being the starter for a couple of years. You know, the Titans, they drafted their quarterback of the future.
That's next. Malik Willis out of Liberty to the Titans. And I don't think he's pro ready yet. He's raw. He reminds me of Josh Allen in a way from when he first came out.
A little bit.
It's going to take some refining,
Yeah.
and they're going to have to work with them.
But that's the thing. With Tannehill, they don't have to rush him in. And I think Tannehill will recover a little bit this year. Tannehill 2 years ago, we're like, holy shit, this guy's actually really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a little bit of a down year last year without King James.
Hey, man, when you're throwing to guys that have 2 last names that you've never heard of at wide receiver, you're not going to be good. And then they tried to bring the corpse of Julio Jones back. And, I mean, let's be real. You're throwing to a dead man. Like, how did you expect Tannehill to go off last year? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
And now you took away A.J. Brown. And, I mean, I don't think he's going to be very good. But he's still a decent quarterback. Let's not kill
I like
him.
Bobby Trees. I do like the new kid that they drafted, and I think some of the receivers from the backups got some pretty valuable time last year. So we'll see who steps up.
We'll see. As far as Malik Willis goes, though, this guy has a cannon. He can throw well on the run. He can run the ball.
His personality,
he's fantastic.
his leadership ability.
Great.
You're like, I want to go run through a wall for that guy. I'm ready now. I'll go run through a wall for him.
This is going to sound crazy, and I don't mean he's this good, but he's kind of a combo of Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes to me.
Yeah, a little bit. Honestly, I'd throw a little Russell Wilson in there too.
And a little Russell Wilson because he doesn't quite have the size, but man, he makes plays. He can throw on the run, and he's got a cannon.
And people want to play for him.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
What do we think about Jalen Tolbert, wide receiver, went to the Cowboys? Cowboys love this guy. He might step in and be effective right away.
Maybe. I don't know what to think. I don't know enough about him. I remember thinking, well, they needed a wide receiver, so okay.
He's a big guy who can play outside, which could mean that CeeDee Lamb gets to go back to a slot where he was more effective his rookie year. CeeDee Lamb was a big disappointment last year because they were trying to play him a lot outside. And if they could get him back in the slot, that ups his value to me.
I agree.
Rachaad White went to the Tampa Bay Bucks at running back. I like Rachaad White, but they just re-signed Leonard Fournette for 3 years, and Brady's still there. Brady doesn't like playing with rookies in the backfield. He likes guys that will block for him. So I don't think Rachaad White has any value in fantasy this year unless Fournette goes down to injury, which is possible. But long term, I do like Rachaad White.
Yeah, they're going to need a running back to take over. I mean, they gave Fournette a 3-year deal, but it's really only a 2-year deal. The third year is an option. Brady's definitely not back after this year. So
Yeah.
they needed their running back of the future. Give him a year to work under Fournette and learn some things. And I like the pick.
All right. Now, what's going to happen with the Panthers? Sam Darnold, we know, is not a good quarterback. Baker Mayfield's out there. They drafted Matt Corral from Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Who is very up and down, I think is the good way to put it.
Yeah.
He can make some unbelievable plays, but he can also make some silly plays. So
right.
I don't know. Who do you think when the dust settles is quarterbacking Carolina this year?
I kind of feel like they're going to go get Baker Mayfield. I do. I just don't think you can't trust Corral. And I think, what's his face? Darnold he's just not good. I think we've now seen enough. He's been with 2 different teams and he started out okay with Christian McCaffrey, but once McCaffrey went down, he was a terrible quarterback and he just wasn't good. He makes bad decisions. He had a really good receiving tandem with Moore and Robbie and still couldn't do anything. And then they had that rookie receiver too, who joined the team who barely saw the field.
Yep.
So
Terrence Marshall. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Chargers got Isaiah Spiller, Texas A&M running back. He's explosive.
Yeah.
And he's bigger than Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
So I think this could be a thunder and lightning type of approach to the running back, which means Austin Eckler will not quite get as many touches as he did last year, which could lower his value.
Maybe, but he'll also be fresher and they'll use him in situations where he could probably be more successful. So I don't know if he's going to take that much of a hit. And it gives you less injury risk because we always know Austin Eckler's good for an injury or 2 during the year. So
also last year they did incorporate other running backs into the mix in several different games. There were different guys each week based on availability. So I don't think he changes that much for him. But Isaiah Spiller could be more of a goal line back than Austin Eckler. And Austin Eckler's already hinted at the fact that he probably will get less carries on the goal line.
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
But that just means he might slide down to you in the second round.
Hey.
All right. For the draft, that's pretty much all the guys. I did want to mention Sam Howell, quarterback, North Carolina. He went to the Commandos. Long term, I don't know if Howell is got the pedigree to be their long-term solution at quarterback. What do you think?
I might disagree. I think he might get a shot even. The problem is he's not just behind Wentz, he's also behind
Heineken.
Heine, yeah. And for whatever reason, they love Heine there in Washington. So I think he sits on the bench for a couple of years, and I just don't know if he ever sees the field. But I will tell you, 2 years ago, if he would have come out, that guy would have been a highly ranked quarterback. He just had a shitty year last year. So he dropped way down, threw a bunch of picks and just didn't look good. But the year before that, he was like all world. Everybody thought he was really good. So he's just inconsistent.
We'll see. He needs proper coaching for sure.
Yeah.
All right. John is on the shady side of the island, as you guys can tell. I'm on the sunny side of the island. Johnny's a little dark over there. Let's talk about something that'll brighten up his day.
The greatest scoring system ever. It's about damn time.
I know he likes our scoring system. I like to call it the greatest scoring system ever invented in fantasy football. We've honed in on this particular scoring system and made changes, little tweaks here and there for 20 to 25 years, and we have what we think is the best in the business. It's the most fun. You score the most points. You get points for everything. We're going to discuss what we like about this, and maybe you guys can get some pointers, if you're a commissioner, on how to improve your league. So let's talk about our scoring system. All right. And first of all, John, let's talk about the quarterback position. This is a little different. Quarterbacks are the most important position in the NFL. Everybody says it. Everybody knows it. That's why Tom Brady's won so many damn Super Bowls, because he's the GOAT. And we wanted to properly represent that in our fantasy league. Okay. So the quarterbacks are definitely the highest scoring position by far and the most important. You need a top 10 quarterback probably to win our league, correct?
Correct.
Here's how we break it down. So for every 20 yards, you get a point for passing. That's kind of standard. If you get 300 yards, you do get a bonus of 5 points. You get a point per completion, and you get a negative point per incompletion. And that's a big one right there.
I love that rule.
Talk about that to me, John. What's so good about that rule?
So what it does is it actually rewards quarterbacks who are more accurate. You got those quarterbacks who throw a crap ton of passes and incomplete a lot of passes, but then they throw big completions for yards, and you're going to get the yards points. But this also rewards the Tom Brady's of the world who just complete pass after pass after pass and should get rewarded for that. If you go 80 to 90% in your throws, you should get rewarded for that. And so our quarterback, just like in the NFL, you'd get rewarded for that. You get rewarded for that in our league as well.
Just to add to the points that we offer for the quarterback, if you throw a pick, you lose -3 points.
Yep.
Also, there is basically the length of the touchdown. So the minimum a quarterback gets is 6 points for a touchdown. That is the equivalent to a running back or receiver. I don't know why leagues only give 4 points for touchdowns. A touchdown's a touchdown, a touchdown. You get 6 points. But if you throw a long one, we get extra points. If you throw a 30-yarder, 7 points. If you throw a 40-yarder, 8 points. If you throw a 50-yarder, 10 points, right? And that's to represent like a game-breaking play. When somebody makes a game-breaking play in the NFL, it hurts the other team. It's like a dagger. And we want that to happen in our fantasy league. You get 10 points for a dagger, right? Yeah. So all those stats for the quarterback, what does it do? It basically separates the mediocre quarterbacks from the great ones, all right? I know a lot of you out there, you had your boy Hurts from the Eagles last year. He probably ended up top 5 in your league in fantasy simply because he can run the ball, right? But in our league,
13th.
Finished 13th. Mediocre. Right where he should be. Do we not agree that Hurts is a mediocre quarterback overall?
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he'll look a lot better this year.
He could. But I'm talking about last year. He was very mediocre, very inaccurate, and he paid for that in our league. Finished 13th. Who's the best quarterback in fantasy football last year, in your opinion?
Who's the best quarterback in fantasy football? I mean, you would think Josh Allen, probably.
But who's the best quarterback in football, period?
Tom Brady.
Guess who finished number 1 in our league last year?
TB.
Tom Brady. Doesn't that sound right?
Effing Tom Brady.
Exactly. It sounds right. It feels right. Let me give you our top 5 last year, and you tell me how you feel about that. Our top 5 was Tom Brady, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. It sounds right.
Deserving.
There's no Lamar Jackson in there.
Nope.
There's
no I know it.
There's no Hurts. There's no guys that just have the cheat code because they can run. It's fair. The system works.
Yeah.
That is why we like it.
We do reward those guys that can run. We do. We reward them.
We do. All right, let's talk about running backs and wide receivers. What do they get? Well,
can we go back real quick, though?
Yeah.
We give bonuses in our league because, again, we reward over and above performance. If your quarterback throws 300 yards, you should get a bonus for that. We get a 5-point bonus for that. If they get to 400 yards, there's another bonus, right? Don't we give that double bonus?
Another 5.
Yeah. You got a quarterback who throws for 400 yards a game. I think the 10-point bonus is worth it. I think it is accurate. And again, we reward running backs the same way. We reward receivers the same way. We reward extra great performance.
Exactly. So now the running backs and receivers.
Yeah.
So quarterbacks get a little special love with the completions and incompletions and all that stuff. So what do the running backs get? Well, they get a third of a point for every carry. And that is to differentiate guys like Derrick Henry from Christian McCaffrey. Guys that carry the ball 25 times is so valuable to the Tennessee Titans. And we wanted to show that love in fantasy football. So if he gets 25 carries times 0.3, you're getting a few points for that, you know?
Really?
You're getting a few points for them carries. And then they get a point for every 10 yards, and that's the standard. They get a bonus for 100 yards. They get another bonus for 175 yards. They also get a bonus if they catch for 100 yards. And receivers and running backs get a point per reception. And that is super important. A lot of leagues that go into the half-point PPR, nope, it's got to be 1.
Don't get it. I don't get a half-point PPR. It makes no sense.
I mean, you have to reward equally the power running backs and the guys, the scat backs, like Christian McCaffrey that catch a bunch of balls. They're equally valuable to their team. They're equally valuable in fantasy football because of that scoring system. Your thoughts, John?
No, I couldn't have said it better, dude. I don't understand leagues that try to limit points. I had a friend in another league. He's like, "Oh man, I won my game last night, 56 points to 33 points." And I went, "You mean one of your positions, right?" And they're like, "No, that was the game total." And I'm like, "What are you doing? What are we doing here?"
What are we doing?
That's so disheartening. I mean, in one of our games last year, Joe Burrow scored 98 points because he went on a tear.
That's right. And who doesn't like points? We're playing fantasy football.
It's fantasy.
Points, baby. It's equal. I mean, across the positions, all our guys score a little bit more points than the standard leagues, right? All right. So now that we know that, let's talk about the defense, because defense does matter. We try not to make it matter too much. And we've honed in, and I think we have a good scoring system. So what we do is we start with a baseline. If your defense gives up 25 to 30 points, you don't get any points for that, right? For every point less than 25 that you give up, you get a half a point in fantasy football. So if you give up 10 points, right, you're getting 7.5 points for that. If you get a shutout, you're getting 12.5 points for that, right? That's just the points allowed. And it has to be an offensive touchdown scored against your defense. If you throw a pick six or something, it doesn't affect your defense. So that's fair. And then we have the yardage, how much yards you give up, and each 100 yards you give up, you lose 2.5 points. Okay, so that's fair as well. But sacks are 1.5 points. Turnovers are 3 points. If you force a fumble, it's an extra point. If you block a punt, it's 3 points. If you get a safety, it's 5 points. So the defenses can score. There's a lot of opportunities to do stuff.
Yep.
Tell me what you like about our defensive scoring system, John.
I like that we reward for the important things: turnovers, forced turnovers. If you hold a team, maybe you don't get turnovers, but you're really good at holding the team to no yardage, you get points. Congratulations.
That's right.
Yeah, I like that we reward for that. Also, we penalize you.
That is right. So if you give up more than 30 points, for every point you give up, you lose a half a point. So if you give up 40 points, you've just given up 10 more than the baseline, you just lost 5 points.
Yeah.
And we used to penalize more than that.
I was going to say, it's way better than it used to be.
It's way better. And so that kind of weeds out the bad teams. If you're just throwing defenses out there that suck and they give up a boatload of points and yards, there's yardage hits too. Like you give up 400 or more yards, you start losing points for that too. So the defenses, if you're playing DraftKings, if you get 10 points out of your defense, you're super happy. That's a low point total for our league. That's not a good game. I say 20 to 30 is an excellent game for our defenses. So, and they matter. You have to put some thought into it. You can't just throw any defense out there.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, I look at like the Buffalo Bills were our number one defense last year. They averaged 21 points a game.
There you go.
21 points.
If you have the Buffalo Bills in a standard scoring defensive league, I think you probably average like 4 or 5 points a game.
Right.
And it doesn't really matter. You just throw a defense. Who cares? But if you do that in our league, you can get hammered.
You can get the shit kicked out of you, right? For those people who like, I'm not wasting a draft pick, I'll just stream defenses, and all they've got is the crap defenses at the end, they're not going to win. You have to draft a good defense.
That is true. Defenses do matter. They don't
Strategy,
matter.
man.
And here's the best thing about our league. We don't play kickers. No kickers.
No kickers.
No kickers.
I refuse.
It's
or
been a great-
individual defensive players. No IDPs.
No.
No, thank you.
Now, if you want to do an IDP league, God bless you. That's just too much to think about.
Yeah.
It's too much work.
I
So
got
that,
nothing like
in a nutshell, sums up our scoring system. We hope you got some tips and tricks and maybe some ways to adjust to in your league to make it better. You're welcome to use our point system exactly if you like. It's a great system. We have a lot of fun. A good scoring week, you get over 200 points.
Yep.
It's fantastic.
Top 12 fantasy quarterbacks.
Now that you know how our point system works, let's talk about who we thought as a collective unit here at FSI, who our top 12 fantasy quarterbacks are this season as it stands right now. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. This is going to change, but our preliminary top 12 fantasy quarterbacks, I had 6 people on our panel. We all voted, and here are the results. We'll go from 1 down to 12. All right, here we go. Who do you think's number 1? In everyone's league, it's going to be the same. It's Josh Allen. Josh Allen is our number 1 ranked quarterback. It's no surprise. He does it all. He's a cheat code. He runs the ball. He gets touchdowns. He throws touchdowns. He's got a cannon. He's got weapons. He's added more weapons this year in the draft. What is not to like about Josh Allen? All of us picked Josh Allen number 1, except Johnny Ballgame. Johnny, why isn't Josh Allen your number 1 quarterback?
This is no slight on Josh Allen. I like Josh Allen quite a bit. He was my number 2 quarterback, but my number 1 quarterback was Joe Burrow. And it was Joe Burrow for a reason. Joe Burrow finished 5th in our league, didn't play the last week.
That's right.
So when Tom Brady got 61, Justin Herbert got 46, Josh Allen got 34, Mahomes got 45, Joe Burrow got 0. Still finished 5th, still averaged 45 points a game, which is actually would have been 3rd in the league from our standpoint, 45 points a game.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to read the last 4 games he did play, the point totals.
By the way, these were in the playoffs.
53.8 points. 29.85 points wasn't great, but they did a lot of running that week. 98.95, 87.8.
Wow. The 2 playoff weeks. Wow.
2 playoff weeks.
Wow.
Joe Burrow has weapons.
Yes.
Joe Burrow's got probably the best trio of wide receivers in the league. If you think about the 3 that they have, didn't lose them. He's got a great running game. They really made massive improvements to their line over the offseason. Joe's playing without his knee brace, playing as loose and as fun as he could possibly play, coming off a confidence building 2nd season. Everybody knows 3rd season's the best season for a young quarterback, like that. They start to just everything just clicks perfectly.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's number 1.
And he's a full season removed from that surgery.
Yes.
More than a full season. So last year, it took him a while to get going because he started off really slow because of the injury. And now he's fully healthy with the new offensive line. What is not to like? I agree. I just think Josh Allen is the safer play. But John likes to be – I mean, Johnny gets some gut feelings. So Johnny says Joe Burrow might be the number 1 quarterback. You might want to listen. But anyway, so Josh Allen is our consensus number 1, but John wanted to present his argument for Joe Burrow, which is great. But Joe Burrow didn't come number 2 either in our consensus. Who do you think did, John?
My guess is probably Mahomes.
Not Mahomes. It's Justin Herbert.
Herbert? Okay.
Herbert. Yeah, so Justin Herbert is our consensus.
I get it.
2. You had him 3rd. I had him 2nd.
Yeah.
And most of the other guys had him 2nd or 3rd. So, yeah, Justin Herbert comes in 2nd. And the reason why is the same reason you just said about Joe Burrow. This is his 3rd year where they usually get it. He's got the exact same offense, the exact same weapons. He finished 2nd in fantasy football last year.
Good tandem of receivers, good running backs, good line. Yeah.
Everything's the same. If he just runs it back and plays exactly the same as last year, he finished 2nd last year. I can't see why he wouldn't finish 2nd this year or 1st.
Right.
Yep. All right. So 3rd, Patrick Mahomes comes in 3rd in a tie with Joe Burrow. They tied for 3rd. So I personally like Joe Burrow better than Patrick Mahomes for all the reasons you said, and because Patrick Mahomes lost Tyreek Hill.
Yeah. I had Mahomes not in my top 10.
You did not have Mahomes in your top 10. Explain yourself.
I don't think he's going to be a top 10 quarterback this year. I
That's
think what
why.
they figured, first of all, we were way underestimating the loss of Tyreek Hill. That guy was a monster wide receiver, and they replaced him with Juju. I mean, really? We're depending on Juju and Nicole? No, thank you. And then what they figured out towards the middle to end of last year is they're better when they run more. Mahomes' last games, 15, 45, 65, pretty good. Back down to 46, 46, 45. So he was consistent at the end, but those weren't the monster numbers the other quarterbacks were putting up.
He had an awful stretch in the middle of the season. But here's my thing. Kansas City adjusted. They stopped trying to make the shot plays down the field to Tyreek Hill, and they started taking what the defenses gave them.
Yeah.
But the defenses were giving them these things because of Tyreek Hill. They're putting the extra safety out there to stop Tyreek Hill, and it's leaving the things over the middle open for Travis Kelce and the like. And now Tyreek Hill is gone. And like you said, we're underestimating the value of Tyreek Hill. I think it hurts Mahomes. I don't think it hurts him to take him out of the top 10. I have him 5th. But between you and me, we really brought down his ranking because everyone else loves Patrick Mahomes. They have him 2nd
Here's
or
my
3rd.
thing. They love Mahomes from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Mahomes hasn't been off. I mean, granted, he still finished 4th in points in our league. So it's not like he sucks.
No.
However, defensive coordinators are really good in this league. And eventually they figure you out.
That's true. Okay, let's move on. We've already discussed Joe Burrow, so he tied with Patrick Mahomes. So let's move on to our number 5 quarterback. This makes sense to me. Tom Brady comes in 5th. He was our top scorer last year in fantasy football. He's lost a weapon here and there. They did add Russell Gage, but injury to Godwin. We don't know if Gronk's coming back right now. Tom Brady's a year older. Tom Brady seemed a little disgruntled. I don't know what was going on there with the retirement, the unretirement. There's a little bit of bad juju here for me, and that's why he's 5th.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I had him 4th, but for all those reasons, he was, he still has a good receiving core. But with Bruce Arians stepping down, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, who knows what that was like. But I don't know. We doubt Brady every year. We're like, hey, he's too old. He's not going to make it this year. Who was our number 1 fantasy quarterback last year? Tom Brady.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we can't doubt him. And that's why I didn't slide him down too far. Yeah. But the guys that I have ahead of him, they have continuity. Everything's the same. The coaching staff, the wide receivers, the weaponry, or they added to their weaponry. The Bucs lost a little bit, got a little bit older, lost their coach. It's just a little bit of uncertainty there. Godwin's injured. That's why I dropped him down a little bit.
I hear you.
Okay. Number 6, I'm not a big fan of this one, but the consensus, we voted for Kyler Murray at number 6. Ugh. And he finished just behind Tom Brady. And maybe if they had Hopkins, I could see that. But if Hopkins is out 6 weeks, we've seen Kyler Murray without Hopkins, and it's not pretty. And I know they got Marquise.
I put Kyler Murray at 10.
Yeah.
And I didn't even want to put him there.
I had him at 7, which, I feel like that's a little bit more appropriate. But, we have him at 6. I mean, that's not that big a difference, to be honest. I fear what's going to happen in the first 6 weeks. I'm not sure Hopkins is the same guy that he used to be either. He wasn't that good last year. So
no.
I have serious doubts about how big of an impact Marquise Hollywood Brown's going to have.
No, I'm with you.
Okay.
I'm with you.
Number 8, Dak Prescott. Where did you have Dak? You had him 5th.
I had him 5th.
I didn't have Dak in my top 10.
I know.
He's lost too many weapons. He's lost Amari Cooper. He lost Cedric Wilson. He has an injury. What's the kid that's coming back from injury with a torn ACL? Gallup. And, man, another year for Zeke Elliott. I don't know.
I know. But for some reason, I feel like this is going to make him focus more. Like, I don't know. You just said, I get these weird gut feelings. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't end up in the top 5. Very surprised. He's unbelievably talented. And he doesn't ever have 2 bad years in a row. He generally ends up in that top tier of quarterbacks. And I just think he's going to be better this year. I think getting rid of some of the wide receivers that he got rid of, he might be okay. I mean, I don't understand getting rid of Cedric Wilson, actually. I thought that was a bad choice with Gallup hurt. I actually think he's a better person, but it is what it is. Yeah. So I like Dak, and I think Dak will surprise a ton of people.
So here's a guy coming in at number 9 who I had ahead of Dak by far. That's Russell Wilson. I think Russell Wilson's being a little bit underrated. Do we realize what he's going from a team that always wanted to run the ball, and now he's going to a team set up with a great receiving core, a good offensive line, talented running back, and they want to pass the ball. The coordinator wants to throw the ball. Russell Wilson, we've always said let him cook. I think he cooks in Denver. I like him higher than we have him as a group at 9, but we have him at 9. What do you think, John?
I had him at 12. I think he's right there. I think he's lost a little something. I do think he'll play with a chip on his shoulder, and I think he's going to be a good fit for Denver. I don't like him in the top 10. I just don't think he's going to get there.
Do we not remember just 2 seasons ago, not last year when he broke his finger, the season before, when Seattle was letting him cook? He was number 1 in our league for the first half of the season.
For the first half of the season, then he wore out, and he's never been the same since.
Did not wear out. Seattle changed their philosophy. Seattle decided to
because
go.
He kept throwing a shit ton of interceptions.
He did have some turnovers, but I think Seattle wasn't winning, and so they switched to go back to a running game, and that worked a little better, and they just stuck to that. But we know Russell Wilson can dominate if he's allowed to cook. I'm just telling you.
All right, but I'm also going to tell you this. He's also playing in the AFC West, which is the toughest division in football, with some freaking unbelievable defenses who can get after the quarterback.
Yeah, but they also get into shootouts. Let's face it, the Chargers and the Chiefs, they play shootouts. They make you have to score because they're going to score, right? I think it brings out the best in Russell.
You make a strong argument. I'm not going to say you're wrong. I have him at 12. So
I mean, that's not too far down. That's fine. All right, at number 10, this kind of surprised me that he snuck in there, Matt Stafford. I'm a little down on Matt Stafford, not because I don't like Matt Stafford, but he lost a few receivers.
Bobby Tree's probably going to lose Odell.
Yeah, they signed Allen Robinson coming off the worst year of his career. Yeah, OBJ, we're not sure he's coming back.
Don't overlook that signing. What did we say about Allen Robinson up until last year? Good for how many yards every single year?
1,000.
Don't overlook that signing. I'm telling you. And as a Bears fan, it kills me to say that because he was awful last year, but he was injured for half of it, had a rookie quarterback with a terrible offensive line, terrible situation. He kind of took a red shirt year last year. Yeah, now you've got a rested Allen Robinson on a Rams team with a Matt Stafford with an arm that's still a cannon and proved that he could still throw. And you got a guy named Cooper Kupp on the other side of you. Please don't overlook that.
So you like Stafford in the top 10 then?
Yep. I had him in 6.
Okay, you like him a lot.
I like him a lot.
I just think Cooper Kupp had like a magical type season, and he's just no way he's going to repeat that. I think Stafford, his numbers as a whole,
but it's not out of the realm that he could still get 1,000 yards even with a down season from where
I expect him to get 1,000.
But you put Robinson at 1,000 and Cooper Kupp at 1,000. It's a pretty good year. We got a pretty good tight end there. It's a pretty good team. I'm just saying, do not overlook this team.
Okay.
Don't overlook.
They are the defending champions, and Matt Stafford had a great year. So it's you don't want to
commercials now too.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen the AT&T commercial with him?
I mean, yeah, he's talking about the trade. It was a great trade.
Yeah.
All right. Number 11, Jalen Hurts. And I get this one. I get it. He finished 13th in our league last year. You add AJ Brown to the team. Yeah. And I think he could definitely move up a couple spots to number 11. That makes sense to me because Jalen Hurts, when healthy, runs the ball, gets touchdowns. He can throw it downfield a little bit. I like it. I think that's exactly where I would put him.
I put him at 13.
That's fine. Anywhere, he's a lower end QB1,
He is.
high end quarterback 2.
We can all agree he's top 15, right? I mean, like he's in that range.
And number 12, our final guy to make a quarterback 1 fantasy quarterback, Derek Carr. And John, we're the only ones that had Derek Carr on this list. You had Derek Carr 7th, and I had him 9th, and that's why he finished 12th.
Yeah.
Everyone else kind of slept on him, but you give him Devontae Adams. Do you realize Derek Carr was leading the NFL in passing yards for most of the season last year?
Sure was.
He sure was. And he didn't have Waller for a large portion of that season. Now Waller's back healthy. And
Waller wasn't the same guy when he did. He had no receivers. He lost one guy to that horrific accident.
But he wasn't really that good anyways. He wasn't going off. Hunter Renfrow stepped up. He's still there.
Good. Now you've got Now you've got arguably the best wide receiver in the National Football League.
Who, by the way,
you have
he plays for him. They have chemistry. They played in college together, and they were great in college.
Love each other. Still best friends. They are going to go off.
The one thing about Derek Carr, and I've said this for years, he locks on the one guy and he hits him. I mean, look what he did for Derek Waller. He's going to do that with Devontae Adams, folks. Yes. Devontae Adams is going to catch
Devontae Adams is going to be able to catch him, and he's going to go. I don't think I mark Devontae Adams down on my wide receiver list because of this move. And I am usually 100% against a number 1 wide receiver going to another team and keeping that ranking as high because it almost never works out. Randy Moss is the only guy I can really think of that went from one team as a number 1 to another team and was actually better.
Right. I thought long and hard about this when it first happened, the trade. I thought it was a downgrade because you're going from Aaron Rodgers to Derek Carr. And Rodgers is a better quarterback, let's face it.
Yeah, but he's not in the top 10.
But the Raiders have more weaponry. And that opens the field up more for the best receiver in football. So I think you're right. I think Devontae Adams should not be downgraded at all. I think it's going to be the same. I think he's going to be good.
Yep.
Yeah, I like it. All right. So 2 of the guys that didn't quite make the top 12, Aaron Rodgers and Tua Tagovailoa. I think our panel, they don't like Tua. I like Tua just because of the weaponry. I mean,
I had him at number 9, dude.
You had him at number 9. I think I had him. Let me see. I had him at number 11.
Yeah.
Tua is
weapons, bro.
All he's got to do is do a 3-step drop and get rid of the ball. He's got Tyreek Hill on one side. He's got Waddle on the other. He's got speed in the backfield.
Gesicki for tight end.
Gesicki at tight end. I mean, this guy's got weapons. If he's not going to do it this year, he's not going to do it. I mean,
I feel the same way about Hurts too, by the way. If Hurts doesn't do it this year, he's not going to do it.
Exactly. But Tua's a better passer than Hurts.
Yeah.
And Tua, albeit he's not like a speedster, he is mobile. He's not just stuck in the pocket like Tom Brady. He can move.
Right.
So I think he can do some things with this weaponry.
I mean, I know he didn't finish but 25th in our league, but he also missed 4 weeks. So
yeah, he was a top 20 quarterback if you go by average, but he didn't have a lot of weaponry last year. You give him all the speed, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Johnny, Ballgame, folks. Bring the noise. Good job tonight, Johnny.
Reap, always good, man. You always keep us on track, dude. Thank God for you coming in and leading this thing. I just get to do what I do.
So we're about to ramp things up just a little bit. We're going to try to come back in a couple weeks and get the rhythm going every couple weeks.
Get some of our boys back.
We're going to get Tony will be back soon. We're gonna get Royce back. We're gonna get Keith on the show. Let's do it. Let's get them all back. Yeah. We want to thank you. We want to thank you for watching and supporting the channel. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff. You know what to do.
Do it.
Thank you for watching and check in with us in a couple weeks, and we'll see ya. Aloha, folks.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end. Check in a few weeks for another edition of Fantasy Sports Island.